What is up, everybody, and happy New Year's Eve. Today I made just under $5,000 trading, and I'm doing a trade recap. But before I get grilled in the comment section, no, this is not on my live accounts. All of this was on eval. I told myself I wasn't going to trade today, but still went live. I did see a setup that presented itself that looked really clean, so I did take it. I was pretty happy with this trade. It was super obvious. I'd rank it probably an A- setup. There's only one thing I had wrong with it. But before I get into the trade recap, as per usual, if you haven't traded my model, I trade the SIS system. It is the simplest inversion system in the space. If you can't pick it up, there's something wrong with you. I break down my full model in the Discord entirely for free. That is where I live trade every single day, also for free. There's nothing that could possibly harm you by joining the server. Join the server, learn my model, and I guarantee you'll stick around. There's a great community in there, and you all should love it. But anyways, let's get right into the recap. All right, everybody, as per usual, I'll put my bias on screen now, but tread lightly when you read it, because believe it or not, I was wrong about my daily bias today, but I was able to adapt and still catch a very nice move. So this is what the charts looked like coming into the morning. Like I said, I was bullish. Why was I bullish? Well, take a look at this. It's 8 a.m. and in the overnight session, we have just been ripping through high time frame fair value gaps. So I'm thinking we're going to continue this trend. The only other gap that we have that hasn't been traded through is this 1 hour gap. But with this much momentum, I figured we'd probably trade through this gap and towards both of these stacked up highs throughout the session. But that did not end up playing out. To the downside, we had a couple draws. We had an unfilled hourly gap, another unfilled hourly gap, and this low. But I mean, like I said, nothing was obvious. The obvious draw was to the upside, but after market opened and we reversed in the other direction, I adapted. All right, so let's drop time frames. Dropping to the 5-minute time frame now. It's 9:25 a.m. This is what I was looking at coming in the morning, and like I said, I was bullish. So what I was expecting was we would get some sort of brief pullback, possibly into one of these 5-minute fair value gaps. Considering we traded through this 5-minute fair value gap, I figured we'd probably possibly trade down to EQ of this leg, maybe towards this 5-minute gap down here, bounce from here. I didn't expect much of a sell-off off open. Lowest I probably thought price was going to go was down towards these lows. Like I said, I was bullish, but all I wanted was a pullback continuation long, and I was planning on being done. But if I let the next candle play out for market open, you'll see at 9:30 a.m., still kept trading lower. This is about where I wanted price to trade to. Like I said, thought price wouldn't go any lower than this. And if I let a few minutes play out here, you'll see. Sold right off. After this major sell-off, traded way past the lows that I thought we'd trade to with no sign of going back up to the upside. Now we have to run through a lot of unfilled gaps to the upside if we were going to trade higher throughout the session. Now I'm like, wait, let me question my bias here. Something's not right. So a couple things I noticed is we formed this 5-minute fair value gap on the way down. And we swept out a bunch of lows, and we also had this baby 5-minute fair value gap up here, nothing too relevant to me, and we had these highs all the way up here. So literally, the only way we would trade back to these highs is if we run through this gap, but considering how large this gap is and the momentum we had, I didn't think that was going to happen. So I flipped my bias when I saw this to being bearish. Now, here's where the bread and butter of this setup came into play here. Look at the charts right now. What do you see? We made something right here that was super important that I totally confirmed my bearish bias. Is on the 5-minute time frame, we came down and we made perfect equal lows with that 6 a.m. low from the night prior. When you see equal lows like this get put in, you're going to get traded back to 100% of the time. This will always get traded back to. This is such a strong draw on liquidity that I knew this was getting traded back to. This is why I wanted to take a trade. I wasn't going to take a trade today, but as soon as I saw these equal lows, I'm like, I know this is getting hit. I'm getting in on a trade to this. How do I enter a trade to this? Well, what I need to see is a pullback. Whether it's a pullback to this 5-minute fair value gap or equilibrium in this leg, I need to see a pullback. So the first draw that I'm looking to get hit to the upside, where I'd start to look for rejection out of, is this 5-minute fair value gap. Now I'm on the 1-minute time frame. It is 9:47 a.m., so we're starting to get in that 9:50, 10:10 macro. And if I let price play out slowly here, you'll see we start trading up. We trade through this 1-minute gap. There's no long opportunity here. Nothing looks clean for longs. I'm not looking to take a long. Like I said, we have equal lows. I want to get in a short. And within a few more minutes, you'll see we trade right into this 5-minute fair value gap. This is all I want to see for a short. I want to see us rebalance this gap. I want to see us trade to the lows. The only thing I need to put in the middle there is obviously an inversion fair value gap, which is my entry model. So I was looking for the highest time frame inversion. All right. Considering on the 1 through the 5-minute time frame, there's no fair value gaps anywhere that I could have taken. All I saw was these two stacked up 30-second fair value gaps in the current trading leg. I wasn't worried about these because that's not the current trading leg. These 3 candles were the current leg on the 30-second time frame. So all I'm looking for is the highest time frame inversion of the current trading leg, which was these two 30-second fair value gaps. If these get traded through, I'm entering short towards the equal lows and possibly even towards any other stacked up lows we have below, such as these lows, these lows, these lows, these lows, any of these lows, I'm looking to go short towards. You will see if I zoom in here and let this play out slowly. We get an inversion of this 30-second gap. This was where I took my entry short. Entered short with my stop at the top of this 30-second inception gap that we had. We made a 30-second inception gap, protecting our stop loss after tapping this unfilled 5-minute fair value gap before targeting these equal lows. This inception gap should not get traded back through if we're going to go lower. I know that because it's an inception gap. These are super high probability to protect your position. So if that got traded through, I wanted it to be my full stop loss. I wasn't setting it the swing high. Top this inception gap was my stop loss. My first take profit was these equal lows down here, like I said, and I wanted to leave a runner towards the 5 a.m. lows over here, which were right there, which was also London lows. Because this leg was so choppy and I just took my entry, some of you might think I'd go break even at this internal low. That wasn't the case. I wanted to wait until these equal lows got hit to go break even, just because I know equal lows are such a strong draw. I knew these were getting hit no matter what, so I wasn't going break even until those were hit, because 95% of the time that's going to hit, and that's exactly what happened when I let this play out. That being said, possible runner to London lows from down here. We had London lows right there. Could have possibly left a runner there if we had really good momentum through the equal lows. I wasn't sure if I was going to hold that yet, because I still would get about positive R 1 to 1.5 at the equal lows, so I wasn't sure on if I'd try to hold for the full 2.75 risk to reward. But anyways, let me let this play out. Now, semi-questionable price action once we entered. The reason this setup didn't end up being fully A+ is because we had super low volume after we entered that. Of course, I didn't know that before I entered, but with tapping the 5-minute fair value gap, getting an immediate V-shape recovery, in the 950 macro, starting a 10 a.m. reversal, it was a little sloppy while it was playing out, but clearly I didn't get stopped out. We started reversing after we traded back into the inception gap that I was talking about. That gap, super high probability for rejection. As soon as we traded into it, got some volume built up there. We came down, edge my point. Like I said, I wasn't break even yet. I knew that these equal lows were going to hit. I knew this inception gap was strong. I was super confident in this draw, and you'll see, despite taking forever to hit, we did trade through these equal lows, and considering the volume we had, it was super low. That was where I took my full profits off. I took my full profits off at these lows. I made $950 in my 5 evals that I have right now. Those are the only VVLs I'm trading. All my other accounts are passed, but these evals should also be passed, and I'm going to have some ridiculous allocation after I get through these. But I will put my P&L on screen now for you, and that was all I had for this trade recap. Overall, was the trade perfect? It wasn't. Was it good enough for me to take on eval? Absolutely. I liked it a lot. We had equal lows. Super strong draw. If you aren't familiar with equal lows and you're not familiar with good versus bad liquidity pools, go watch both my liquidity videos in the boot camp. Tons of sauce in there. You'll learn about equal lows. I use them all the time. If I see equal lows or highs, I'm smashing a trade. But either way, join the Discord. Great trade recap. Have a great New Year's, everybody. Ending off 2025 with a bang, and I will see you all next year.